Well, today we'll make a different thing. You know, normally I share my projects with you, the video games, of the short films, of the soundtracks I'm working in. But today I will analyze this soundtrack, the Hans Zimmer soundtrack of Superman. Then I takes a little bit long time for me because I edit all the video and I put everything together, you know, and I make some don't pay attention to the stuff because sometimes the key signatures and everything will change. But just see, if you are a musician, you can see and watch what is happening. But I will try. Um, to explain everything using subtitles and using videos, insert videos. I made the reconstruction of some themes, the Zod theme, the sacrifice theme, and I will explain a very interesting thing. I think that if you are interested in composing for video games or for films, there will be some resources we will discuss here that will be interesting for you, like the use of themes and thematic variation to create a cohesion on the on you know on the whole thing. Then I strongly recommend you to watch this video. I know it's a little bit long, but I feel it deserves the time. You know, I was working as a modern music teacher for many years, and just now I'm just sharing the things I know. And this video is for educational purposes. I will not. I'm making it open. In my Patreon, it will be open too. I mean, you don't need to pay for it, and I really hope you enjoy it. Well, that was the first interesting moment in the movie. You see some of the two most important themes. In fact, three, but I will explain now. Well, you hear the Jor-El's theme, and this theme is Jor-El's theme and Kal-El's heritage theme, because the themes works as a kind of mention to Jor-El. It makes you think on Jor-El, but is related to with the link with his son and everything related with him. For example, you can hear it in the spaceship of Kal-El when Kal-El is with discovering his spaceship and Jonathan Kent is showing him. You will hear the Jor-El's theme. And when Lois Lane is on the ship, it's a lot of spoilers now. Okay, I hope you already see the movie because if not, you will eat too many spoilers today, and maybe you will explode. We don't know how many spoilers one person can. Okay, maybe the fans of Game of Thrones have some idea about how many spoilers one person can manage. But anyway, the point is that when Lois Lane is on the spaceship, on the South spaceship, she have this black key that contains the artificial intelligence of Jor-El, and when when you have it on the scene, you hear the Jor-El's theme. When they make this plan to use the ship of Kal-El to destroy the Zod ship, you will hear the Jor-El's theme too. When the battle finished and Kal-El and Zod will fight each other, just before it, you will hear the Jor-El's theme, because on that moment, Kal-El is just, Kal-El and Zod, they are the last ones from Krypton, and it's like they are finishing a fight that Jor-El and Zod started. Then, in some way, this fight comes from his father too. It's kind of symbolic thing here, and it's interesting because in video games and movies, of course, but in video games you can do that too. I remember in the game of Resident Evil, when you are playing, and sometimes when you are in some situation that is related with Umbrella, that is, this corporation that makes the zombies and everything, you hear the theme that is related with them, but they are not on the scene. I mean, And it happens the same on this movie. It happens the same with Zod. Uh, it's not just related with him. It's related with the things he is doing when Kal-El is fighting Faora in the city with this other big guy, and you will hear the Zod theme too. But Zod is not on the scene. That's really important. It's the same with Jor-El, and it's the same with. But okay, it's some important thing I want you I want to tell you about Jor-El's theme. Listen, Jor-El is built by forts. Okay, do you remember this intervals post? I make a post about intervals in my. You can find it in my Patreon. Then this is 1/4, and 2/4. That's it. Okay, this is 1/4 interval. That means that between that note and this other note, the distance you have is a fourth. Okay, and now it's the same. Okay, but I will put my hand here that you can see it. This is what I'm playing. I don't know how to make it to okay. This is Jor-El's theme, but pay attention. If you make this is Krypton theme, and this extra note I'm adding now is this note, but one octave below. What that means? Well, it's for me it's a really beautiful idea, and I really like this movie because it's full of ideas, and I really like this score. I know some people say the movie is just is a crap, but I don't agree with that. I believe it is like an onion. It have a lot of layers, and anyway. But what I like about that is that Jor-El's theme is built over the same notes that Krypton's theme, and in some way you can say that Jor-El is the essence of Krypton, or he contains the essence of Krypton, or Krypton contains the essence of Jor-El. But at the end of the day, Krypton dies, and what Jor-El did was to get all the genetic information from his world and put it on his son, and he sacrifices his son. I mean, not the son. The son that doesn't die. I mean, but he dies, and his wife dies, and everyone dies. He says to Kal-El that they can't save themselves because they are part of the mistakes of Krypton. He's kind of, for me, he's kind of honest man. Is a really true man and a good man, and he's thinking more than on himself, and it's just quite a nice guy. Then but the most important thing here that we are speaking about music is that it's the same as Krypton. Jor-El is the same as Krypton. You can think on that. Now when we will watch now Zod entrance and everything, but when we see Zod fighting with Jor-El, we will hear in the background we have the the Krypton theme playing fast, like an arpeggio, and over that you hear the Jor-El's theme. But if you pay attention, when Jor-El is about to defeat Zod, you will hear then like that. It sounds like Superman, and then Zod is on the floor, and that's over. The fight is over on that moment. It's quite interesting because Jor-El is a fourth, as we said, but Superman, it's even the classical one, it's it's a 5, and then you have a 6, but it insists a lot on the 5. Then what Zimmer made on the heroic theme, that is the one that you hear when Lara was making this heroic thing of giving birth in a planet that doesn't give birth for many years. It was, everything was very like in Matrix. The kids were like the machines were taking care of their reproduction of the planet. The people is I don't know if they are having a good time in bed together, but it's not a natural birth anymore, and she makes a natural birth, and it sounds this heroic for me. The heroic theme is sounding because Lara, not because Kal-El or because Jor-El, because you see Jor-El is there, but it's just watching, and well, in fact, I remember when I was when my daughter born, I was there, and men just watch. All the hard work is on women, but anyway, well, this is what we have about Jor-El. I want you to keep the idea that Jor-El is 4s, Kal-El is 5, and Krypton is like if you take the two intervals of Jor-El and you put them together and you start to play around with them. That's quite important. Let's continue seeing what we can see now.
Este consejo queda disuelto.
¿En virtud de qué autoridad?
De la mía.
Well, just let's have a look at the Zod's theme, and I will talk now about him, okay? This is Zod's theme. This is a recreation I made. It's not perfect because I do it by head. I mean, I didn't go and listen to everything and make the same voice conduction and exactly the same harmony and everything. I just tried to make something similar to the Zod's theme, but it's enough for make an idea about what is happening. And there's some interesting things here. Okay, let's go and listen. Well, that was Zod themes. Well, something about Zod. How to say it? This guy is a fucking Nazi, but it's so Nazi that he don't know he's a Nazi. I mean, some people that you can find is like angry and they are like inside conflict, and they hate people and stuff like that. But some other people is just like cold-blooded. They are like, no, these are inferiors and I shall kill them. Zod wake up in the morning and said, oh, well, today, what I will do today? Well, I will destroy this planet, and I mean, I will kill billions of people just to build a different atmosphere for me and my 5 or 6 friends, and that's it. It's crazy. He said to Kal-El that he's a warrior, and he was born and raised as a warrior because Krypton have this kind of genetic policy of, okay, everything I told you before that people is not born they, it's not a natural birth. They make the machines, and the machines make the genetic selection, and you will be a scientist, and you will be a warrior, and you will be a politician or whatever. Then but Zod says to Carl that I was raised as a warrior and everything, and what you were doing. I mean, what you're a farmer, because he's on it's a farm boy. Superman is from a farm. His father have a farm, and Mary had a little lamb. Anyway, but the point is that maybe Zod can have a look to the story of our world, and because in the Vietnam War the farmers gave a lesson to the soldiers, because the farmers win almost every battle, but of course the United States, they win the war because they launched the bomb and everything, but it was like that. And Zod is not a good guy. I mean, but it's not, for me. It's not evil on the sense that some people like for example, like Lex Luthor. Lex Luthor have a different kind of evilness. Zod is like, he believes he's doing the best for his people. It's like when the Inquisitors were burning, innocent girls just to save her souls. That's this kind of crazy thing. And the melody, it's interesting. He have okay. We already talked about this scale. It's Phrygian scale. Everyone in the movie have Aeolian scale, that's the normal minor, and they have Ionian scale, that's the normal major scale. But Zod have this thing, and it's interesting because when they made like then he goes to, but you can hear when you can like insisting and repeating 5. Remember, 5 is like we told, is the Superman thing. It's like a hero. He wants to be like that makes the. In fact, I believe in some part of the movie you can hear like. Just the 5. Oh, I don't remember if they make. Yes, something like that, but you can play over. In fact, I will do it. I will play over that thing. It doesn't allow me to. Yes, I can do it from outside. No problem. Great. I will show you what I mean. It makes like mess. It's like repeating. It's obsessive. This kind of guy, Then, well, Zod is a villain, but it's interesting thing that at the end of the movie, Kal-El should take a really hard decision because um, Zod is about to kill some people, and Kal-El is the only one that can stop him. But if he kills Zod, he kills the last connection with Krypton. He will be alone forever. I mean, it's not more Kryptonians as far as we know. Then, in fact, in the second movie, they make this use the corpse from Zod to create this doomsday creature, and in some way, it's not the end. But anyway, the Zod theme, it's quite uses quite of different scale from other characters, and he have different instance because you have the blam 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 blah 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 blam, but you have the ta ta tan ta ta tan ta ta tan ta ta tan, like with rhythm, and you can hear it when he's like more when the camera is on him, or when you are seeing wide perspective, and there's his soldiers are making things and they are fighting and everything. You can hear his theme too, but in a more dramatic way. Anyway, it's one interesting thing I want to tell you. If you have the chance, just look for it's one special edition. I have it in my car. One special edition of the soundtrack that contains the normal soundtrack that you can find on Spotify or every other place, and it contains like the Hans Zimmer sketchbook. The sketchbook is like the diary. I already spoke about that on another videos, on different videos on my Patreon. But it's interesting because the Zod suite, I mean the Zod theme, for me is one of the most beautiful themes. And it started just with the sound design, because on this movie sound design is quite important. They build some instruments with steel, just to make a metaphor. They build with steel, and it's some kind of big things that if you rubber them with another piece of steel, it make a very low end sound, and they sample this and they use it in the movie for the low frequencies, and you hear especially with Zod. And I like the sound design for the ship. When they are terraforming, this sound is quite great. We will hear it later. And when Faora is fighting with Kal-El, you can hear that every time she pick him and boom, put it on the floor, you hear that. This sound is very similar to the one that the ship makes, but it's like a smaller version. But in the essence is the same sound. And then in the orchestra, what they do is with the trombones, when they make this sound of the trombone, at the same time, and everything is mixed. But the sound design, I believe you have some videos on YouTube about that. Sound design of this movie is quite interesting, and I strongly recommend you. Okay, let's gonna continue watching what happens now. You see, now you hear Zod, but it's a bigger version than the one you hear when he entered the hall, and it's because you are not seeing him, you are seeing his actions, you are seeing the results of what he's doing, and this is the reason it sounds that big. As I told you in the video, it happens. Well, this is one of the most heroic moments of Jor-El, and it sounds very similar to Superman theme. You see, it have some vibes there, and he's flying. He's reading the S of the House of L, and it's quite heroic here. Then it sounds quite like Superman. You know? Now you have the background brass.
Tranquilo, Harakan.
Good scene. Let's go there. Well, this is one of the most important themes on the movie. It's the sacrifice theme. Just now you will hear the voice of a woman you will associate with Lara.
Ni le oiremos decir nuestros nombres.
And later I will tell you
Pero
like
ahí
this,
fuera,
when the emotional
las
theme
estrellas,
starts, and you will
vivirá.
hear different instances of this theme along the movie, and it will be quite important theme. I will explain you now in a different video. Let's gonna stop this for a moment, and I will explain you a little bit about this theme, because it's really powerful and interesting. Sacrifice theme, we call it. Now, it will start now. Now, just in the moment she starts to recite the genetic heritage of Krypton. What a beautiful thing.
Adiós, hijo mío. Nuestros sueños y esperanzas viajan contigo.
Okay, let's go there. Well, this is a really important theme on the movie. It's the sacrifice theme, and normally, and the first time we heard it associated with Lara, and the next time we will hear it associated with her too. But Lara have, when you're working on movies, or even in video games is very usual. You can attach some instrument to a character. If you pay attention, you will hear that every time we are like referring Lara, we are hearing this kind of texture of a female voice, like in the choir. Is a kind of 80 voice there and flouting around. Then she makes kind of a little bit to melody, and then she starts with the sacrifice theme. Okay, and it's something like you see, this is important because this is like the full theme, okay? But later you will hear some instances of it, okay? Then you will hear it instance of this theme. With instance, I mean like it's like the same theme, but with a little bit. They use, the programmers of the developers of video games. They use a lot of instance. When you're programming, you make kind of routine, and then you make like an instance of it is almost the same, but with a little variation. But your start point is like the main routine, and then you modify, and this modification is an instance. Okay, then you have or something like that. I'm not a programmer, but this is my idea or what I have in my head, and I believe it's that way. But anyway, then the point is you have the melody. This is the melody, and then you have one instance of the theme. You will hear it when Jonathan Kent dies, and one on a different instance of the theme you will hear it when Cal kills Zod. It's kind. They take, I don't remember. I believe it's from the last four bars or something like that. They take this, and from that they build it. And the beginning, for example, is. And the melody when Cal kills Zod makes. There is different, and then they make all the variation. But anyway, it's a good thing. But you should pay attention because it's like, okay, the first time I hear this theme, it's related with Lara L, but you hear it with that voice. Then you link that voice with her. Then the next time you hear that melody, and the next time you hear it is without this voice. Then you don't think on Lara as a character, but you are thinking on the sacrifice, because this theme in some way represents the sacrifice of Lara when she says goodbye to his son, and represents the sacrifice of Jonathan Kent when he says to his son, stop, let me die, people shouldn't know who you are, not yet. And represents the sacrifice that Kal-El makes when he kills Zod and to save the people, but gets alone. Then it sacrificed him. But you have a kind of different instance of it. It's a positive instance. When Lois and Kal-El, they are together, and they are, of course, when they are kissing and and everything. But before that, before he goes to the ship of Zod, and Faora says that she wants the girl on the ship too, but you hear a variation of it. But this theme is quite important, the sacrifice theme. And concerning the texture, in another moment, in a different moment, you will hear this kind of melody of the voice, the thing that the girl sang before the sacrifice theme. You will hear this texture, and below it you will hear the Jor-El's theme. That will happen when Kal-El is on the ground, because the terraforming machine just exploded and he's like weak, and he puts his hand on the sun, and you feel the sun is giving him energy, and then you hear this Lara. It's like he's almost dead, and he can feel his father and his mother with him, but this story is told to you through the music. No one is telling you, it's not pictures of them, it's just the music. But along the movie, the music made his work and make you think on that. And that's one of the beautiful things about soundtracks.